You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host. We're going to be joined in the next segment by Dr. Hugo de Garis, artificial intelligence pioneer. We're going to talk to him about his book, The Ardalek War, Cosmos versus Terrans, a bitter controversy concerning whether humanity should build godlike, massive, intelligent machines. And one of the interesting things about this book, not only does he lay out some of the principles of artificial intelligence and how he thinks it's going to get there, talks a little bit about the time frame, but the thing that I found interesting about it was his conflicted interest in this, because he sees this resulting in the extinction of the human species. Nevertheless, he feels compelled to create what he believes are going to be godlike artificial intelligences that he calls the Ardaleks. So we're going to talk to him in the next segment. We have some news that we haven't gone over just yet. I wanted to talk about this WorldNet Daily story that came up from Jerome Corsi. And of course, it involves the appointment of Attorney General nominee Loretta Lynch. And it's her role in the Obama administration's decision not to prosecute HSBC and other banks for massive money laundering for terrorist groups, for drug groups. Remember when this came out, there was a lot of talk about not only are these banks too big to fail, but the Obama administration, under the previous Attorney General, Eric Holder, said with his spokesperson, said, you know, it just wouldn't serve anybody's best interest for us to send any of these bank officials to jail. Anybody else doing this would be sent to jail in a heartbeat. Some of the most massive money laundering in terms of the quantity that they've done and the blatancy with which they did it we've ever seen. And not only did they just give them a slap on the wrist and a small fine, but as they were working on that, we've had on our show Everett Stern, who is a whistleblower who worked at HSBC, and he alleged that he was part of the group with the first time they got caught doing money laundering. They came in and said, all right, we're going to let you off if you will police this better. So they hired a bunch of people, and Everett was one of them, to look at the transfers, to scrutinize them. They had software that was supposed to flag this stuff. He asserts that it was simply a cover-up, that they were trying deliberately to look the other way. They were not training people to actually do anything with it, even as they were getting their hands slapped for a prior violation. He was pointing out that search terms looking for individuals or organizations that were drug dealers or terrorist groups, that they would insert things like periods or spaces inside of the name so that there would not be a character match, so that these things would go through the automated filters, and did very little to train anybody to actually do any detective work. He says that when he started doing it, he got slapped down. Well, this is a whistleblower from HSBC, John Cruz, who is now talking about what he saw and talking about, again, Obama's Attorney General nominee who is supposed to replace Eric Holder. And unfortunately, Eric Holder is going to be retiring. He's not going to a jail cell as he should be going based on the many things that he's covered up. Fast and Furious, the IRS scandals where the IRS is being used against political enemies. Seems like nothing will take him down. Nevertheless, some people are starting to pay attention to the HSBC whistleblower pointing out the Attorney General nominee's role in the Obama administration covering up and just giving a hand slap to them. We also see that Michelle Obama and Barack Obama are having a wonderful Valentine's Day. This is really, I guess, we need to call back, Robin Leach to talk about lifestyles of the rich and famous, champagne dreams and caviar wishes, or however that went. They have a very expensive getaway, according to the Daily Mail. The first family's Valentine's Day apart cost the taxpayers at least $2.5 million as Barack golfed in California while Michelle went on a secret ski trip to Aspen. Stay with us. We're going to be right back with Dr. Hugo de Garis joining us from China. Stay with us.
of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com. No survival chest is complete without Silver Bullet. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. Silver Bullet.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride and GMO, estrogen mimickers, and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race. And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, and we're going to be talking in this hour to Dr. Hugo de Garis, one of the pioneers of artificial intelligence, someone who's been a researcher in the subfield of artificial intelligence, AI, that is known as evolvable hardware. And until his retirement in late 2010, he was a professor at Xiamen University. He can correct me if I said that wrong, where he taught theoretical physics and computer science, and he ran the Artificial Brain Lab, funded by the Chinese government. And of course, most of the governments have some kind of an artificial brain lab that is going on. Before we go to Dr. de Garis, I want to read this to you from his book, The Art-elect War. This was written in 2005, about 10 years ago. Of course, he had identified the issue, the problem, sometime before quite a bit before he wrote the book. He's been working in artificial intelligence for over 30 years. This is what he said in this 2005 book. He said, the issue is far too important to be confined to intellectual discussions amongst a bunch of nerdy scientists. In time, it will concern everyone, because if cosmists are serious in their threat to build artilects, everyone will be affected one way or the other. So he says, an effective beginning to getting people to talk about the issue is to write a book, and a book will help journalists become familiar with the problem. They'll in turn write about it for the greater reading public, which we've been doing here at InfoWars for quite some time. We've been talking about it as well. Similar reasoning applies to TV and radio journalists who can present these ideas to an even wider audience, because unfortunately, only about half of the population reads books. That's right. We need to have this discussion. We need to understand what is being done in this country. It comes across when we see articles like we saw yesterday with DARPA talking about jacking into the spinal cord so that they can bypass the optical system and directly implant images into the brain. We need to start thinking about these technologies that are so far over the top, that are advancing so rapidly, that are accelerating so rapidly. We need to step back and examine the social consequences of this. And so I want to do that with Dr. Degaris, as well as have him lay out the case for the plausibility and the inevitability of it. And we're going to try to take your calls. He's graciously agreed to stay a little bit longer into the top of the third hour if you've got some questions for Dr. Degaris. And thank you for joining us, Dr. Degaris.
Hello. Thank you, David.
And thank you for coming on at this time. I know you're in China right now, so this is very, very early in the morning for you. Thank you for getting up and doing this.
I'm retired, right? I do what I like, and I've always been a night person. So for me, this is sort of like the middle of the day. It's the middle of my night, so to speak.
There you go.
So I'm wide awake.
Good, good. I wanted to ask you to kind of lay out the case. You think that it is not only highly probable, but that it is inevitable that we're going to have these massively intelligent artificial intelligence machines, the Artilex. I want you to kind of lay out for us the two different approaches to AI and kind of get an idea where we are in terms of current research on this. You disagree with Ray Kurzweil on the eventual outcome. He's someone who thinks that we're going to merge with machines in a kind of cyborg way. He also sees a utopian future. You're very concerned about this in terms of its conclusion, but I think you both kind of are taking the same approach to artificial intelligence, aren't you, in terms of modeling the human brain?
Well, my best friend is Ben Goertzel, and he and Ray Kurzweil, I consider them the two guys probably, well, one of those two will be the first, I think, to achieve genuine human-level artificial intelligence. And Ben's way, I call his approach just simply the engineering approach. In other words, do whatever you like. You know, just take some idea and engineer it and see if you can get artificial intelligence out of it. And that's pretty much the approach that artificial intelligence researchers have been taking for, God, 60-odd years. And they've not been successful. We still don't live in an era of artificially intelligent machines. And the other broad approach is simply copy the brain. Now, we know that approach eventually will pan out because we only have to look at ourselves as the living proof that it's possible to put molecules together in a certain way and produce an intelligent, conscious creature. Ourselves, human beings, we're the living proof that it can be done. Nature has found a way. But the bottleneck with that problem is we don't really know what intelligence is yet. So, we don't have enough knowledge of the detailed structure of the human brain.
And that's a good question, Dr. Degaris, because how do you define intelligence? I mean, I remember decades ago people talking about IBM's chess-playing programs and talking about that as being artificial intelligence. That's not really autonomous thinking. That's highly programmed. It's running through a lot of different probabilities and possibilities and doing it in a way that is faster than humans, but it's essentially relying on the programming of humans. It's not autonomous, independent thinking. How would you define artificial intelligence? I think you're talking about something completely different with Artilex, aren't you?
Yeah, well, intelligence means just the ability to solve problems quickly, and the more difficult the problem, by definition, the higher the intelligence. So, my good friend Ben. In fact, will you be interviewing him at some stage?
Yeah, we'd like to. Yes, we'd like to.
Yeah. Well, if you. I don't have to twist his arm a little. Ben would be very willing. So Ben's big thing is artificial general intelligence, which sort of answers your question, because today's AI is essentially very narrow. It's very specific and detailed, applied artificial intelligence to specific problems. Like Google's probably the best example of AI. But Ben's thing is AGI, with the emphasis on the G, meaning general. So a general artificial intelligence could solve just about anything, right? It would be a master of many, many different approaches to things. And if one approach doesn't work, well, it tries something else and so on until it solves the problem, which is pretty well what we do. We have zillions of modules